Welcome, everybody. This is Info Whores.
Info Whores.
With me always is
JT Kelley.
And my name is Sam Castillo. This is the first one. This is going to be a non-traditional news show. We're going to be exploring personal sovereignty, state citizenship.
Sovereign citizenship.
We're going to be exploring comedy.
The myth, the legend, the mighty muse herself. Oh, man. It's more like bad news for people with nothing to lose, you know?
If you are someone who reads the news, turn this off.
You're not going to like this one bit. I don't even know how to read.
I only work with illiterates.
Imagine the loudest guy on the bus talking about the news.
And if there's two of them, which one has pissed himself?
I'm not a gambling man, but I got my guesses.
You're gonna need to put new socks on because that floor. This is if you're riding this bus, it's a piss covered floor.
This does not go whole county. This is a inner city bus. All right, same circle all day, baby.
It's a closed loop. It's this is Info Whores, everybody. We're gonna just try to do our best to make you laugh and learn.
Learn a bit, laugh a bit, love a bit. You know.
All right, we're here at the Creek and the Cave studio as well. I guess we should thank them.
Thank you, Creek and Cave Studio.
And thanks to our wonderful
for
producer.
putting a platform to these fringe ideas.
I guess we should introduce ourselves before we really dive into it. We've known each other for what?
6-7 years, something like that.
When I first met you, I had just left a very libertarian, drug-addled fraternity at the University of Texas, and you were trying to escape a Maoist cult.
I got on the ground floor of a Maoist death cult, baby. Ground floor, you know. I was not a late adopter. I was there. I was in the study group, early study group attendee, okay? I was there with the little red book being like, who's this Mao guy we're talking about?
That was like my favorite thing is like y'all would like own like grenades, but then you like had homework.
Oh yeah, it's the nerdiest part of building revolution is just learning little books that are, you know, published in PDF forms. They're not books you buy at bookstores. They're PDFs. You know, they are PDFs you download and print at Kinko's. And the guys at Kinko's are like, what's this about? I'm like, just studying with the boys. They're calling me their comrade now. I don't know.
How did you get into just for the sake of everyone getting to know us, how did you get into the Maoist death cult?
I met a guy on a bus, man. I met a guy on a bus.
Really?
Really, yeah. There's this guy walking around the bus trying to sell DVDs to everybody, and I was sitting next to this guy, and the guy that was trying to sell DVDs just wasn't getting in this guy's head. This guy was like, man, I'm not going to buy your DVD. Take it to a pawn shop. Take it to a pawn shop to sell that DVD.
Yeah.
And then me and this guy just start laughing about it, kind of roasting this DVD salesman guy, and then we get off at the same stop. And 2 weeks later, we're in a study group learning about the Naxalbari revolution in India. And I said, oh, all right, you guys are my friends now. I'm 20. My jaw's wired shut because I got curb stomped less than a month ago. I want friends bad. I was ready. I was ready to adopt anything.
Which we'll get to the story about how you got curb stomped. But
yeah, it sounds like how it happened is how it sounds like.
Humble beginnings. And if you guys aren't clear as to what you're watching, this is a news comedy show for bad people.
Welcome to Info Whores.
This is Info Whores. What year was this? 2013?
Yeah, 2013. Wow, like 10 years ago.
Oh my God.
10 years ago, I said, who's this Marx fella?
Second term Obama.
So, oh man, glory days. Barack Hussein Obama. Couldn't have asked for a better name for a president. That
Honestly,
was incredible.
Yeah.
The uncle energy about that name too. The dudes that just could not let Barack Hussein Obama go.
I got a lot of dead uncles who've died of melanoma in Iowa, and they, at the time when they were alive, they were not happy.
Shows for you boys.
They were like, he's got a terrorist middle name.
Hard to argue with that. You hear that, you go, okay. I admit Hussein is a classic terrorist name.
You were Maoist. You would say it's a freedom fighter middle name.
I'd say terrorist. That sounds like a political term to me. I say terrorist. Who taught you that word? The government? That sounds like Uncle Sam vocab to me, buddy.
Yeah, you know who the real terrorists are? Wall Street.
Ain't that the Occupy it? I remember Occupy Wall Street. That was the first time I ever thought like, oh, does like a small group of people own the world? It was the first Occupy Wall Street. I remember I was working at a coffee shop, and Occupy Wall Street protesters walked by that coffee shop.
Yeah.
And they were kind of explaining like what they were about to me, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. And I was like, shit, I've just been going.
What
to
did they
community
say
college.
that made it click?
They were talking about how Walmart was about to unionize a butcher section,
Okay.
and the Walmart just fired everybody.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's so lame.
Yeah.
And then I found out that was like kind of illegal, but then you can pretty much just like buy judges to make that not illegal.
Yeah.
You can just like buy a judge to have them overthrow whatever ruling came out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's Texas, baby. It's a right. You have a right to work.
Did Occupy Wall Street win?
I mean,
Okay.
hey, you ever have to wonder, has anyone beaten Wall Street? The answer is no.
Talk about guy on the bus energy. Occupy Wall Street, all of them fresh off the bus. You could, every single one of them like, all right, you guys are regular bus users.
That's a stink, bro. This is a news for stink. This is a show for stinky people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like yeah, I think I really got into conspiracies at too young of an age.
Me too.
My father he's a contractor. He built the 6th floor museum in Dallas, like the book depository where Lee Harvey stuck a gun out and allegedly shot the president. And
He built that?
the museum, like
Oh,
it
okay,
was.
not the actual place that he shot from. I was like, dang, how old is your dad, dude?
I mean, he's 70.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty old.
But like it was just a barren warehouse in downtown Dallas, and then they wanted to make that into a museum, and so he built it. And just like that was like maybe about 7 or 8, and then at like 9 or 10, I started to like really ask questions going through the exhibit once it was done, because in the exhibit they include like this audio footage from like the Zapruder videotape, and you start to like look into it, and you're like, this isn't at 10. I'm like, this is not right.
JFK assassination is something that if you learn about, you just feel more crazy. And like you can't know if you know too much about it, people aren't gonna want to talk to you about that, buddy. No one likes that one.
I have talked myself out of so much pussy bringing up JFK.
It's not worth it, dude. It's
No.
not worth it. If they have no idea what was happening between JFK, Cuba, and gold at that time, that pussy's not worth it. Guaranteed.
Yeah, she doesn't deserve to have the IED split.
There's a certain level of political consciousness you're gonna have if you want me to come fast. All right.
If you want me to come fast and apologize like a comrade, you're gonna have to educate yourself. Why don't you? Okay, boo. How about you do a study hour and then we'll fuck.
I remember I was like 12 years old, and it was like right before YouTube, maybe right fresh YouTube.
Yeah.
I watched a video on Waco.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is gonna be my personality now. Like I was like, oh, things with the world are somehow wrong. I was like, this is it. I'll find what it is sooner or later.
I can't believe how people who grew up where I grew up aren't conspiracy people. Like between living in downtown Dallas and then just like driving past Waco every time to see my family.
You drive past which is like, our Mecca. Guys like us, we make a Hajj to Dallas sooner or later.
Which
to
is what
stand
we
on the
will
spot.
do in the show. At one point, we will go on site to Mount Carmel.
We will walk the Holy Land.
That is Mount where the ATF went in and spoiled the party. They said, hey, cops are here. Okay, put the kegs away.
Dude, party's over. Okay, time for the 12-year-olds to go to bed.
Time to gun down a bunch of children dressed like Little House on the Prairie.
What's crazy is like they came up to that door. They came up to the Waco door like, oh, we're really gonna fuck up these peasant Amish. And the Amish were like, yeah, dude. The like Waco fools that like dress like Little House on the Prairie that look like they make their own soap. They're like, oh, also we have like the most advanced rifles you could get. A lot of them.
Yeah, those people would blindfold themselves, and then they could like build a butter churning station and an AR at the same rate. And they could take it apart. They could build a narrative.
That's why they were marrying children. As you see someone do that, that's practically an adult to you. If you see someone build a gun and churn butter, you're like, okay, well, that's an adult. Hard to argue with that. You ain't a kid no more. Soldier.
For the viewer, in case we're losing you, this is a show for people who build their own bullets at home.
You got one of those casing machines you press it down into, like my dad's friends that collect gold. Talking to you, Mr. Thomas.
We buy weed from QAnon women. That's
That's the best weed you can get. They are down the rabbit hole, baby. It's good.
And here's the thing, it's not even weed, it's K2.
Yeah.
They're telling you it's weed.
Spice is good now.
Spice is in.
Yeah, spice, weed,
Weed's out.
that's last year. Spice,
Spice
that's
is in.
this year. Bath salts, they're making it back around too.
Yeah, this Spice so good, you're gonna start talking like RFK Jr. you hit that motherfucking ball and you're like, I just think that
The CIA tried to hit him with the stroke gun and just missed a little bit. Just a little. They just grazed him, you know.
Here's the thing about those agency class pigs is that they gave him 2 weeks of a bowl of K2. You know.
You want to do headlines?
Yes. All right.
We have headlines.
This is our first.
This is a news show.
And so now we have our first segment, which is called
Fake Real News.
All right, let's start her off, JT.
I don't know if you've seen this in the news, but Guyana has agreed to talks with Venezuela over the territory dispute. And when reached for a comment, President Biden said, "Listen, I don't know too much about Mexico, but I sure do like their senoritas."
Guyana, it sounds like an ingredient in a smoothie. All right. A 13-year-old in Oklahoma may have just become the first person to ever beat Tetris, the game. Proving autism is more than just something women use to get sympathy. It's actually a superpower for homeschooled kids. You were homeschooled for a little bit, right?
Can you tell? You can tell it's something. You can tell it's something, right? Yeah, I was homeschooled.
And I remember the first day that we met. In the same sentence, you said that you used to self-suck your penis and that you were homeschooled.
And those two things are related.
And those things, you got a lot of time on your hands.
When you're homeschooled, you're done with school by like noon. And my parents worked, so I had a lot of free time.
You had strong hip flexors.
Yeah, very flexible young man overall.
Did you ever get shots at home?
No, not even once.
Wow.
Not even once.
This is something I just got a good memory of. Was like my mom used to work part-time at a hospital, and all her friends were people who worked at the hospital. And we would go to her friend's house and play with their kids, and then they would be like, come inside, and they would just give us shots. They would in the arm. They would just give us like, here's your flu vaccine.
Like medicine?
Yeah.
That wasn't real medicine.
They put needles in our arms.
There's no way, unless there was like some sort of like, serious problem at that hospital or medical institution. You can't take that home, right?
We would be in this woman's living room, and they would put needles in our arms, put a Band-Aid on us, and then they'd say, now watch Anastasia, the animated movie, to make sure, and just sit here. And
I
we would
got in
just sit
trouble
there.
for stealing blueberries when I worked at Juice Land. And they're straight up taking flu shots to pump y'all with.
Yeah, it was the early thousands. It was a different time. The towers hadn't fallen yet, you know?
Wow, the glory days.
The glory days.
Before we lived in like, the post-patriarch nation, where now you can't just give your kids unregistered medicine at home like God wants you to.
The kids are getting shots in the living rooms.
I don't know how that guy is likable. That guy seems like a nightmare, right?
I just talk myself out of pussy doing RFK Jr. I text him. I'm like, hey, this is a cool place on the east side. It has a coffee and it has cocktails. They're like, oh my God. And I'm just like, well, when you look at the facts. And they're like, I'm going to go.
Man, I couldn't listen to that guy say anything. There's nothing that guy could say that could make me trust him.
He makes good points. And he makes you want to vote for an establishment candidate when you listen to him. I'm someone who doesn't vote. And when I listen to him, I'm like, I want to vote for Nikki Haley now.
Oh, man. I don't even know how to vote. I wouldn't even know. Like, I remember at HEB, they used to stand outside and be like, are you registered to vote? And I'd be like, I don't know. Where do I check? Is there like a website where I check? Am I registered to vote?
Is it not a right?
I don't know.
Here's the
what
thing, it's
makes
actually
the sky
not a...
blue? No clue. I have no clue.
Abba-dee-ba-da, I'm blue. All right. You want to hit us again?
Okay. Ooh, this one's out of Nebraska. So a Catholic priest was actually stabbed to death in a small Nebraskan community at the end of December. It left parishioners absolutely shocked because it's usually the priest that does the sticking. All right.
Slide whistle. All right. This next one. Israel.
Familiar.
Okay. Israel has said withdrawal of some troops doesn't mean the conflict is over. We know, said children in rubble. We're not saying what side the children are on. Could be children
We're
in
also
rubble.
not saying they're innocent children, all right? There could have been some bad kids. They could have been some bad kids.
It could be Coptic Christian children.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, and you know what? It's all Britain to me in my eyes.
I call it the Ottoman Empire.
I still see them all as Ottoman Turks. We wish them all well. We wish them all an American ceasefire, which apparently is bad now to wish peace on people. But
I would never wish a ceasefire upon my worst enemy.
I would never wish a ceasefire. I would never ever wish peace on anyone. I'm an American.
No way.
No.
We got domestic news here, too.
Let's go.
This is out of the East Coast.
Yeah.
Donald D. Cornett, known as Dusty Corn, is a self-described serial pedophile. He recently found out that he'll be facing 25 years in prison for his crimes. When reached for a comment, Dusty did explain, I know 25 years sounds really bad. That's why I like to think of it as five-year terms. It sounds a lot sexier when I hear it like that. So Donald D. Cornett, the serial pedophile.
Yeah, we got to put this out after that festival. We got to wait. I don't know if I'll get this thing on audition for if we put this out. All right, here we go. Raven Simone, famous for playing hit Disney show That's So Raven, has suffered a loss this week after her brother died of colon cancer. Weird that she didn't see that coming, although his death would have been lauded as not very Raven at all.
That one's funny to me. That one really tickles me, I'll be honest.
Well, we're bad. We're broken. We're broken men.
That's fake news. That's fake real news.
That's fake real news.
That's fake real news.
All right, let's move on to the next subject. This is the
Situational
situational report.
That was professional.
That was.
That was professional. Oh, man. Oh, we have two stories on the situational report. The first one, let's watch this video. The first
All right, Booze.
situational report video.
Booze, who's your first situational?
Buckle up.
That is Jared Buckhalter. He agreed to be the first addiction patient in the U.S. to get the implant. Dr. Razai's team interviewed him the day
Yeah,
before
look
the
at smooth
surgery.
that his
The
brain.
best outcome possible would be, just to cut the cravings out and make me feel a little bit better. If those couple things happen, that's all I could possibly ask for.
The
we
dead
pause
look
it?
in his eyes makes it look like his desires are for like eating children's flesh or something.
For context, what you guys are watching is this is the first ever brain transplant for an addict.
It's not a transplant.
No?
No, they're not putting a new brain in his brain.
What?
It's not a brain transplant.
I swear to God.
No.
What is it then?
It's a brain implant.
What?
They're putting an implant in his brain. They're not replacing it with a new brain, Frankenstein style.
Oh,
It's still bad. They're still playing God. They're not putting a fresh brain in there.
I swear to God. I thought they sliced this dude's head open and put a dead body's brain in his brain.
Did he have the memories of that dead body?
Yeah, I thought they were like, yo,
He brought someone back from the dead.
I thought.
Sam believes in miracles, dude. Sam,
Why was this not on like mainstream?
it's crazy. I was the one that got caught
It's
up
on
in a
s-
cult when he'll believe this.
It's 60 Minutes. It's his real station. Like, I thought this was a guy who was like, hey, man, y'all are going to have to redo me.
Put a fresh one in there. This one's still angry at Puerto Ricans for some reason.
No good. Bad brain.
He does look like he needs a new brain. When you see that dude's face and you see the eyes, it's like, okay, if we're gonna transplant a new brain, it should definitely be this dude, straight up.
I mean, it's a rough look.
It's funny.
He's in a Penn State hoodie.
I imagine like the waiting room for like the trial, and the doctors walk out and they kind of look over a sea of people, and this guy's dead eyes with a perfectly straight back, looking straight ahead like he wants to squeeze a bunny to death because he's soft, and they're like, oh, this dude's mushy brain.
We're dummies who are trying to talk about The Gay Bachelor, and we still put on blazers. This guy is getting a brain transplant, and he's like, I'm gonna put on my best Penn State hoodie.
Again, it's an implant.
He's
not getting a new. I don't know why this is the hill I want to die on.
No,
I just think that's a massively different thing. That would be, I admit, that would be huge news. I would definitely want to talk about it if we could do brain transplants. But hey, maybe we can. This is not that. play the rest of the clip. Sam's eyes are going, aha moment.
That I was willing to do just about anything, and I signed up to do it.
Except just
I think some people might look at this and think an electronic implant in the brain sounds a little creepy.
People, maybe 50 years ago, they say a implant in the heart sounds creepy. Now it's like normal.
So this doctor's evil.
25 years ago, people were saying, what are you doing? You're putting an implant in the brain for Parkinson's? But now it is routine, part of standard of care for advanced Parkinson's.
We live in such a broken and sick world that men with such a strong desire to drink that they'll ruin their lives and family think the most reasonable solution is to have an evil scientist cut open their brain and put electric parts in there.
We support science on this podcast. We're actually stands of science.
Not me, baby. Science?
Whoa.
Fucking go to hell, dude. I'm with God. I'm with the Bible. All right, dude. Science, I don't understand it. I was homeschooled.
I was home vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing. They say, oh, there's a scientific method.
Yeah.
Wasn't that just made up by a dude? True or false? True or false? That was made up just by a dude.
Are you... Okay, so you don't trust people.
Well, I trust people more than I trust the scientific method.
But science is people.
In the same way corporations are, yeah.
Well, they are.
Sure, I wouldn't doubt that.
The Supreme Court has ruled that corporations are people. Are you saying that they're wrong? Our judges? The Supremes?
I'm willing to say they're wrong in the same way that I'm willing to say science? I don't know about that. I think the wisest thing you can do is admit when you don't know something. And if you say science or math or big long words.
Oh, you're a new mather. You like new math.
I don't understand. When COVID first happened, I said, I'm going to go back to college.
Okay.
And so I said, I got to test into community college math.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm going to go online and I'm going to learn on the Khan Academy's website, how to do algebra. And I learned how to solve for X. As long as you do both sides of the equal symbol, you can do whatever.
X equals suck my dick.
Yeah, by the end of it, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
And then I took a placement exam for math.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just solve for X. It was solve for X and solve for Y.
Whoa.
I said, this is impossible.
Whoa.
And I'm not a math guy.
Whoa, we only did X.
Yeah, that's what I learned. I spent weeks learning it, too. I spent weeks learning how to... maybe a couple.
And then they just hit you with the Y?
And they hit me with a Y during the first math question on the
Yeah,
placement
what the
exam.
fuck? This is supposed to be comunidad.
Yeah.
Colegio. Comunidad is community college.
I didn't take Spanish either. I didn't have to take a language or anything being homeschooled. I just kind of vibed.
What was your favorite? Was it Deuteronomy? What was your favorite lesson in homeschool?
Man, I liked the story of Ananias and Sapphira when they went before God and they pretended like they had given all of the money they made from a house sale to the church.
Right.
And then Peter, or I think, I don't know, one of the dudes in the Bible, that wasn't Jesus. Maybe it was Jesus, fuck if I know. They were like, you're lying, so you're going to die, and then they both died.
Damn.
That was my favorite
How'd they
story in the
die?
Bible.
God smited them?
Yeah, he doesn't do the dirty, dude. God does not spill the dirty deeds, all right? He just killed him. That's all we need to know.
What was your faith called? What's the sect?
Christian.
Just called Christian?
The only correct one, yes.
Man.
I happened to grow up the Christian, but the only type of Christian that was correct. So I got pretty lucky.
I grew up as a cunt Christian. Okay, I'm a Lutheran. We are the we complain. Nothing. We like nail stuff to doors.
Mm-hmm.
We're like we send shit back. We're like Jews. We are the Jews of Christianity. Waiter.
In the sense that you guys is hated by the Catholic Church, for sure.
Yes, we. Yeah.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Learn that in the study group.
And that's why we'll have to get rid of that Israel joke.
This implant guy, though, whether you agree, whether you think science is real or fake,
Yeah,
whether you think God is real or fake,
I think they're all real.
this is an absolute slap in the face to the Lord, right? Like, this is an abomination before God, right? Like, this is one of the worst things. Because if you just can't crush a cold one, If you love crushing cold ones and then you just can't not do that,
Yeah.
you're gonna put a device in your brain instead of maybe like not.
So you think that this guy should live a life of on the bottle? He shouldn't. He
Yeah.
shouldn't. These doctors are graciously saying, "Look, we have an experimental trial that could save your life, or we could let you suffer. You choose." And he said, "Put it in me, doc."
That's
and you're
insane.
like, and you're saying that he doesn't have the right.
If you like drinking that much, buddy, just drink. Just drink. If you say, "Hey, the only way I can stop doing this is if I have an evil doctor from
As
the
a
news."
show, if there's anyone who is wondering right now, hands are shaking. The answer is that's the bottle clicking open. All right. Reach for the Nikolai
Go
vodka.
for it, dude.
Yeah.
Go for it. Don't you like going to bed at 3 p.m.?
Your daughter always liked you 4 deep anyways.
You're so fun
4 or
when
5
you drink.
cocktails is that the sweet spot.
You're not going to be funny unless you have a few drinks in you.
People like you this way.
You gotta relax a little. You're so uptight when you don't have a drink.
The visitation officers know what's up.
Yeah, they're cool
Like,
too. They also had
I
a
mean,
cold one, dude. You're
Come on,
good to go,
bring
dude.
one for the squad.
I think we can all agree your ex-wife was just a bitch.
It's a 6-pack so that the people at CPS can have one too.
Sharing is caring. Get a few cold ones with the boys
Yeah.
from the government. Me and the feds had a few cold ones during my visitation hours. Throw one back. Don't put a chip in your
Only
head.
God can judge me.
This is straight from the story of Revelation. Okay, this is the mark of the beast.
Is this a fire?
Let's watch the rest of the video.
All right.
Halter's skull. Then he directed a thin wire with 4 electrodes deep inside.
Jared, are you okay? Yes, sir. All right.
Jared was awake during the surgery. Why was that necessary?
To map the brain.
And to
We have
pray to God
tiny
the whole time to
microphones
forgive
the
us
size
for
of
the
a hair
sin.
we put inside the brain, and they're going slowly with micro robots. They go at increments of 1,000th of a millimeter. Very slow. We drive them into the brain, and we're listening to the neurons talking to each other. In addiction, we want to find the area in the reward center, so that confirms where we are in the brain. Once we listen, we say, okay, that's the right sound. Then we put the final therapeutic pacemaker.
It's like
What does
ear
it
tuning a
sound like?
guitar.
Static electricity, which may be electricity to you, but is music to my ears.
Okay, that's a creepy pervert thing, right?
As Dr.
Yeah,
Razai
that's a creepy pervert thing. If the sounds of the static in my mind is music to your ears, you will not enter the gates of heaven. Fact. Fact, dude. There's no way God's gonna forgive you for enjoying that.
Yeah, I kind of like when I look at like my favorite sounds, like my Spotify Wrapped. It's number 1 is gravel under a dirt road. But I'm a country boy, so like
Yeah, the sounds of the thoughts in your brain when I cut into the back of it is like a beautiful symphony to me, and I'm rock hard during the 60-minute interview.
3
That
is-
guy played the devil, right? That guy played the devil in a small town play or something, and it
3
just
is-
changed his life.
Static is the next
Yeah.
one.
I hear it all the time. I hear static everywhere.
Yeah, what would be your brown noise or green noise? You know those sounds that they'll play.
To find the addiction thing in my head.
I just love I like to listen to like on Spotify they just have like hours of like the sound of like AC like cycle units on planes, like the plane noise.
You're like a baby.
Yeah.
You want to be felled asleep by the baby noises they put on Spotify
Goo-goo.
for parents. A goo-goo, if you will.
A goo goo. Paisan. Little guga.
Man, the static. If you put on like static or white noise while I'm trying to fall asleep, it will scare the shit out of me.
Do you
I sleep in a panic. Every time I wake up like this. This is me sleeping. This is how I wake up. I've never not woken up. Like every time I wake up, it's like some. Especially, I tried to do those blinders one time to make
Yeah,
me sleep
I
better.
love them.
Dude. That just added because you wake up like I'm blind. God took this. God took my sight. You know the extra level to the panic of waking up.
you
was,
forgot that you put it on.
Yeah, I woke up. I said, no. You know, I knew I had a sinful dream. I knew there was some sin in my dream, and God took my sight from me.
You spilled your seed in your sleep.
Yeah, something that he doesn't like.
You ever have a wet nightmare?
See, I've never had. Have you had a wet dream before?
Oh yeah.
Really?
I've had public wet dreams.
A night emission. Wait, what's a public wet dream, you pervert? What's a public wet dream? I was on stage, practically in a dream stance. You can ask my probation officer.
The whole time I'm saying, my hands are up here. My hands are up here. Your Honor.
What's a public night? Not night emission. What's the?
Well,
wet
it
dream?
was I was in the backseat of a car during a road trip.
Okay.
Fell asleep. Woke up. Came in my sleep.
Who was in the car?
My church group. Oh. Mission trip to New Orleans.
Oh yeah, you guys really did some good work out there.
We
Oh yeah, I'm glad we got the kids from Dallas to drive in. Things are going good now, buddy. Look at these. Look at this horny 13-year-old just came on the way here. Yeah, we're hungry, buddy. Glad you brought the kids out. Man, public what? Dude, how many of you had? Not public, just in general.
I also had a wet dream on a plane trip, on a plane ride. And
The Mile High Club.
I know. I Googled, does that count?
Yeah, it does, in my opinion.
I was 15. I remember that was on the plane ride to LA for the Junior Olympics. We did not win. We got kicked out.
What sport was it?
Water polo.
It's a hot sport. And imagine you were horny, dude. You're shirtless in Speedos with a bunch of dudes. It's high contact. What's it called? Underwater arts, when you fight in water polo when you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That would get you so horny you come in your sleep. I could see that.
And then the plane, on the way back from LAX to DFW, you ever been this is the first time I ever thought I was going to die. The first time I thought I genuinely was going to die. We were flying back. About 2 hours into the flight, the pilot comes on and goes, all right, folks, this is your pilot speaking. And which I hate when they do that, because, like, who else would be fucking speaking to
God?
us? Yeah. What, am I an asshole? Like, we know it's you.
I think they do that just in case you think it's the flight attendant and you're just going to ignore her.
And, oh, yeah. They're like, hey, you actually have to respect me.
Hey, is the pilot speaking? Oh, life's in your hands. Got it, bud.
And he tells us, so he goes like this. He goes, so there's 3 engines on a plane. And I guess let's take a step back. There are 3 engines on every plane, Boeing 737. And we took off with only 2 operating. We thought we'd be fine. We do that all the time. And turns out the second one has stopped working. And the main one is going to fail. We're going to make an emergency landing in Abilene, Texas.
Oh, God. It's
And
like Dallas, but worse.
We landed with no engines working. We literally cruised, like glided into an tarmac.
A Sully.
Yeah.
A Sully.
He's still a Sullenberger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
How come that guy didn't get on the fucking red carpet?
because you know why?
Because he only took off with 1 engine working?
Because he was
Seems like a really bad
yeah,
pilot thing to
Sullenberger
do.
had all 3 engines, and then a goose flew into it, and that's why he's a hero. This douchebag took off with only 2 engines working.
I think
and
it's
they
funny
all
they
failed.
told you guys. Like, hey, don't panic or anything.
Dude, people were crying and praying. It was like I just was like, I cannot die a virgin. I came in my pants on the plane ride home out there, you know? Like,
It's interesting that you didn't try to come in. If I was in that situation at 15 years old and I was like, I only have 20 minutes left to live, I'm going to go come in the bathroom.
yeah. Yeah, I can't believe no one fucked on that plane.
No.
There's not a lot of love on that plane.
That's Dallas for you.
That's Dallas, baby.
That's flying into Dallas for you.
How did we get here? Brain.
Night emissions. It's
Oh.
also weird I call it night emissions. Sorry I call it that. It's called wet dreams. I call it night emissions because like a teacher called it that in
Man,
like junior high. I've never had
So
one.
you've never had one?
No, I stayed coming.
Ooh, yeah.
I have never gone to sleep needing to come. Don't go to bed angry. Don't go to bed so horny you need to come. That's always been my...
Between 14 and 16, I had one at least once a week.
Were you
for
not
2
jacking
years.
off?
Yeah.
You were jacking off and still coming in your
Man,
sleep.
and I just remember like my mom refused to do my sheets anymore because of how bad it was. And
Did she say it reeks of cum?
She said, Samuel, this is now your responsibility.
Really?
She goes, there's some things a mother shouldn't do, and I remember I remember like at like one point in the 9th grade, I was bringing she's like, all right, the bus is like, I gotta take it to the bus stop, and I was like, all right, and I'm bringing the sheets and I'm putting them in the laundromat, and she just was so sad. She just goes, not again.
Not again? Not again? She hated it when you came?
Dude, yeah.
Oh, that's gonna fuck you up for life, dude.
I know.
There's no way that your mom looks at you about you coming and says not again, and that isn't gonna be a thing forever.
So welcome to the show where we discuss fringe politics in a comedy setting.
So this is an affront towards God, just like masturbating.
So you're against someone getting an implant in their brain to save their life.
Here's the thing.
That's what it comes down to.
I believe that if you want to get an implant in your brain, that's your God-given right. You should definitely get an implant in your brain.
Right.
It's also my right to think that you're a disgusting pervert who should not enter the gates of heaven. In the same way that I salute you. Oh, good job for getting a wire stuck in your brain because you want to drink beer so bad. Good job, buddy.
We didn't clarify the addiction. It could have been
Child
other
porn.
Yeah.
You could have been like, I fucking love child. If I've misread the room and all of these guys are addicted to child porn and we can fix them, praise God. Praise God.
Alhamdulillah.
For the technology that he provided to save those children. But more than likely, it's just a dude that likes to crush cold ones so bad he can't say no. And I'm a guy, I don't drink cold ones anymore because I like to drink too much.
And JT goes, I'm a guy who likes to crush brews.
I love crushing cold ones. You get 16, 18 in me, dude. Dude, I have no problem talking about Israel on a podcast, all right, dude? You get 16 or 20 in me, I'm going to say some shit, dude. Absolutely. I love crushing them. But you know what I said? No. And I didn't need a little wire in my brain to shock me and make me shock that little demon in me that says, "Ooh, drink 7 or 8 cold ones and yell." No, I just didn't do it.
You just came in your sleep
Didn't have to.
like
I
a
came
red-blooded
awake.
American.
Yeah, I have no problem with you coming in your sleep now or then. I want to be clear about that.
Man, I mean, a friend of ours, Egan Robinson, he has no FAP. He has not. He says he has not had sex and he has not masturbated for over 200 days.
Oh, I thought you meant ever, and I was like, that's a lie. Over 200 days? Wow.
Yeah,
That
and
man
he
is a
apparently is back to having wet dreams as a grown man.
Oh, that would make sense. That's so I imagine.
Oh, you meet him, you talk to him, you're like, oh, comes into sleep.
Yeah. you got to come. The body was designed to come. Matter of fact.
Tide goes in, cum comes out.
Comes out. Yeah.
You can't explain that.
There's 2 facts or 3 facts.
Yeah.
Death, taxes, I'm a fucking calm, dude.
And stanky leg.
That is the best way to leg it, is stanky. That is the absolute best way to leg it.
I'm gonna get a calf cramp.
The story ends interestingly too.
Yeah.
Like we'll just run the tape because it
You're gonna spaz on the bitch.
what was that?
Sorry, I was just talking about coming again.
Dude, I can't not come. Yeah.
You can't keep him from.
You can't. You wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't. No amount of mental fortress could prevent me from making myself come. No way. I remember in growing up, I was the type of Christian that said masturbating was wrong.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't masturbate. You shouldn't come. Never made it like more than a day. Never. I was like 13, 14 years old, getting told by pastors.
You were self-sucking. You were sucking your own penis as a child.
I wanted to come so bad. I found out how to get my own dick in my own mouth.
How old were you when you
old.
first self-sucked?
12 years old.
So we have a 12-year-old self-sucker who freed himself from a Maoist death cult.
Absolutely.
If that isn't comedy.
That's dynamic, all right? I have multiple character arches. It's pretty much the same character arch. I grew up fundamentalist Christianity, extremist, and then immediately joined the opposite type of extremist, fundamental there. It's the same exact story, just told from 2 different lenses.
And who else would you run a show with but a recovering pillhead who was shamed for coming in his pants 3 to 4 times a week for 2 years?
And both of us just desiring a closer relationship with God.
If there, just calling out his name.
Hallelujah, dude. Oh, man.
Lift your name on high.
Run the rest of the tape for the 60 Minutes video.
Let's run it out, Jimmy.
Because it ends in a way that I think is the most important here.
Yeah.
Says it's a signal that he found the right spot in the brain for the implant.
Pervert.
Once in place, the wire was connected to a device placed below the collarbone. The electrical pulses it sends to the brain are intended to suppress cravings. Buckhalter said it was painless. Post-surgery, the system is adjusted remotely with a tablet computer as needed.
When they
tablet
turned
kid.
the unit on, it was an immediate change.
What was the change?
Just felt better, just felt like I did prior to ever using drugs, but a little bit better. And it was at that point that I knew that I was going to have a legitimate shot at doing well.
In all, 4 patients with severe drug addiction had the implant surgery. 1 had a minor relapse. Another dropped out of the trial completely. But 2 have been drug-free since their operations, including Jared Buckhalter.
A 50% success rate to put not a chemical, what's it called? A computer chip or a wire
Right.
in my brain that zaps me when I think about drinking a cold one.
Right.
And it's an absolute coin flip if it works.
And what has he won? Well, you're looking at the new Night Stalker. He stocks the shelves at Target between 3 a.m. and 6.
I finally got my life together.
Because you can't do that. You can't do that on meth.
That would have been impossible.
Label facing out.
Oh man, the next news clip is like what I've been really excited about.
All right, let's go to the next.
Because you're not on TikTok, and I'm letting like the Chinese government reprogram my brain through TikTok right now.
That is correct.
And there's this guy. The first video I think is him.
Yeah, I have it in order.
It's in order? Okay, so-
but let's pause it real fast, and then I want you to explain to the audience who our friend is here.
This is one of the first videos I saw from him. And he came across my feed as a grown man that is one of those like millennial caricatures, like one of those
Right.
people from the early internet that's like, I'm a goofball, blur.
Ooh, bacon.
Yeah, he calls things epic. You know what I mean? One of those types of guys. And at first I thought it was just a little bit silly, but then immediately
He loves science.
He says, I am a CEO, but
Yeah.
I'm also
Yeah.
an aspiring songwriter.
Right.
And then he drops the most dog shit music. Play it.
Hi, I'm Sean. During the day, I'm a CEO. At night, I'm an undiscovered rock star.
And I saw this video and I said, oh, I'm gonna watch the internet bully this guy into killing himself, right? I've been online long enough to know, oh no, this guy's gonna get bullied so hard, he's gonna kill
To
himself.
unalive.
Yeah, he's gonna absolutely unalive himself.
We do not want him to do that.
Yeah, no, oh my God, no, of course we don't want that.
We want an anarchist takeover of the pharmaceutical complex, but we do not want him to unalive himself.
No. I want the CEO to live a happy, fulfilling life with his family, and I wish him the best.
I want her to be a rock star.
And then he puts his rock star thing on there,
Yeah.
and people clown on him. Like, every single comment is like, don't do this, don't do this.
Oh no, stay undiscovered.
Yeah. And also, saying you're a CEO is like the #1 way for people not to relate with you. Like, the least relatable thing about himself is like, hey, other people work for my wealth. Here's a dog shit song I paid someone to produce.
Yeah.
So the comments destroy him, right?
Right.
Just roast him.
Listening to this in my CEO suit and my CEO
But he's some sort of digital piss pig because he loves it. And every single mean comment that's like, this is so bad, you should stop making music,
Yeah.
he responds to. He's clearly hiring production assistants
Yeah.
and people to help him edit his videos, and it's all hate. There's very little support, and the support is clearly ironic. I commented, love this music, buddy. I can't stop commenting positive stuff. Everyone is roasting this guy, and play the next video, because he won't stop making dog shit music. And he travels around making even worse songs, announcing the release of his new songs that make no sense. And the lyrics are horrible. He has this one song called I Am Rectangular. Oh my God. Yeah, please.
I am rectangular. I feel it in my bones. I am rectangular. I
Feel no hole. What? He says, I feel no hole.
And you are a circle. I am rectangular. I feel no hole.
What? That makes no sense, right? He keeps releasing music like that. Everyone clowns on this dude nonstop. He has 20,000 followers, and every single one of them is being mean to him. Then he posts, and I think before I get bitchy, just watch the video, because this came up on my feed, and I thought this was him doing a bit.
Hi guys, this is going to be a little uncharacteristic, but there are bad days and then there are make international news bad days like this or this. So I'm going to tell you a story of what happened to us over the last little bit. This is a traumatic story. If you don't want to hear it, keep scrolling. So I decided, as you may have seen, to climb Kilimanjaro with my kids.
sing his rectangular
A, for
song.
the fun of it, and also to promote my latest song, which we did. After that, we went to go visit my mother, who runs, call it an orphan project. It's really a vulnerable children project in South Africa. When we got there, we enjoyed her company
you have the
for
same
about a week.
reaction I do. If you
and the very last
have
day,
an
we
orphan
decided-
project and it doesn't have an official NGO name that you can describe the action of what that orphan project is.
You know what they used to be called? Orphanages.
That's an orphan project. Okay, you're taking a tech money approach to orphanages, right?
Call it a cobalt mine.
Yeah, an orphan project, right?
What do you mean, African orphan project?
Yeah, there's a lot of projects going on there, buddy.
There's two things. It's a rare earth silicon mine. Child military.
An orphan project.
Because I didn't hear school.
No.
I didn't hear church.
The project famously not described as a school.
I didn't hear children's hospital. I heard orphan project.
As if it's something you do in the basement in the Midwest with your boys, dude. It's a project.
Is I am rectangular backwards child warlord? What does that mean? So he went to Kilimanjaro with his kids to show them the project.
That you can do anything if you make bad music.
The Canadians in Africa. All right, let's run some more.
When we got there, we enjoyed her company for about a week. And the very last day, we decided to go to the Kingdom of Eswatini, where there was a children's home there who needed medicine. So we went out there to provide them with some medicine, had a nice drive. And on the way back, it turned dark. On the way back to...
Provide the medicine.
Why is that your role, right?
That's like, you know who does that? Doctors. as far as I know, this man is a CEO.
You said it's funny because you are getting vaccines in your living room as a child, and you're like, this guy's no doctor. He shouldn't be just handing out medicine.
Okay.
Now, my mom's friends, on the other hand, those guys knew how to really shoot us up.
They did work in a hospital. They were just moonlighting vaccines.
Man, but it goes on. It goes on. So they're driving.
her place, we were stopped by police officers. Turns out that those were not police officers. They pulled us out of the car, pointed at us, hijacked the car with us in it.
They're dicks.
Sent us drove us out in the middle of nowhere near a cliff, threatened to kill us and throw us over the cliff. They then took us out of the car.
Okay, he starts to cry here. So he's someone who goes on the internet to be made fun of, to be bullied, to be a digital piss pig, to be slapped in the face. And then he puts this out. And you go, okay, I can't. If anyone gets kidnapped and held hostage, I'm pretty sympathetic towards them. You know what I mean? If anyone says, hey, man, I was in a different country. I got pulled over by fake police and my car taken from me and robbed.
Yeah.
For some reason, when this dude posted, I go, makes sense, man. The demon in me goes, okay, this has got to be a bit. This dude has made his entire life getting slapped in the face online, traveling around to be made fun of. I have to imagine. And this is just where the pure conspiracy comes in.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so obviously you guys wanted to, like, I don't know, funnel money with your weird orphan project or something, and that's where your kidnapping came in. I say that, and this dude was, like, definitely actually kidnapped, like, made international news and stuff like that. But it's just insane. This has been the most interesting story in the world to me, because that is the least expected arch I could ever imagine when my online kind of bully target, I never bullied him, it's just my mind, I make fun of him. I show people his videos.
Did you ever comment? You never commented?
I commented positive things.
Oh, what'd you comment?
I comment things like, I love this song, it's so good.
You don't mean it, though.
No.
You're bullying.
No, I say it so it keeps showing up on my feed. I comment because I don't want to like the videos.
Right.
And I don't want him to say, oh, it got this many likes. No. I don't like it. I comment so it shows up again and I can keep in touch with all the stupid things he's doing. But then he does this and I go, oh, I can't really make fun of you for this.
Can we just, I mean, for people who are listening, go ahead and look up Sean Stevens' music. That's his name. But
Support him.
because he looks like a Guy Fieri that what would you say is just really into VR porn.
It's funny as if Guy Fieri didn't have the confidence to pull off his outfits. Like if Guy Fieri, right before he left for the day, someone was like, hey, you look like an idiot, and it really affected him, that's what this guy's like. It's like he just got called a loser and he's trying to smile through it.
He's not a gangster. He's not a flavor gangster.
Yeah. Guy Fieri is considered federally a flavor gangster.
I mean, he's a pallet thug, you know? That's bomb.
Man.
All right, so he gets kidnapped by these African police officers.
Let's finish out the video, yeah.
Forced us into the back of a pickup truck where they held my children and
Toyota
I
Hilux.
and my mother, and then
Really
drove
quality
us around for about 4 hours, trying, we presume, to go to ATM after ATM, stealing as much money as they could from my mother, from us, threatening to my daughter, threatening all sorts of other cruel things. And then at the end of that, they fortunately let us out, put us back in our car, and said, leave the country, which we did. I'd say one of the biggest negative things that came out of this was my mother's Orphan Project lost all of her money. They took all of the money that she had. So if you'd like to share some love with us, she's been running the project for 20 years. That would be very, very helpful. Anywho,
Very
back
money
in
to
Canada.
hate energy, right?
What a way to launder money. If there was ever, I mean, there's much easier ways to launder money. No, I do. Now, if this did happen.
Yeah, I honestly, and I'm a guy that thinks that we set fire to the Waco house on purpose. I think this happened.
I think that the Oklahoma City bombing was a dry run for 9/11, which were both inside jobs.
100%.
And I think that this happened.
I also think that this happened, yeah. I think that this happened, but if any even kind of evidence came out that it didn't happen, I am willing to change my mind.
But we're glad that his child.
Yeah, and I'm glad he's okay. I don't want anything bad to happen to this guy.
No.
I genuinely want him to make his music and put it online so we can make fun of him. But when I saw that video, I said, okay, is this
real?
Is this? Are you are you doing like high level art right now and really doing something, or did something just really bad happen and you put out like a clickbait titled video? Because even when you go on TikTok, it's him sitting at the table and then in front of him, really big, is got kidnapped in South Africa, like a YouTube. Like it is like this level of like, okay, I believe this traumatic thing happened to you.
Right.
I also just think the demons that are in your head that make you put up bad music to get bullied for it.
Yeah.
Also said, hey, you should put this traumatic story of you and your kids on TikTok. This will fucking crush.
It will. He's commodifying it.
Yeah.
And that's why the next video, which we are going to show, is him doing a Hot Ones style interview with his kidnappers. This is going to be quadruple X Buffalo. And they're just like, put the money in the bag.
Please, sir, I'm very hungry. He's like, I believe they were police. And he's just showing up with a t-shirt that says police on it. Yes, please give me to your card, sir. Write down the PIN number on the back of your card. My little Hilux says police on the side to be arresting you, sir. Yeah, if I'm ever in another country and the police try to pull me over, I'll be like, drive straight to the embassy, bro. I would if a police in another country tried to pull me over, I'd be like, nah, dude, drive into the embassy. Police in the U.S. try to pull me over, drive into the embassy. The sovereign citizen, the Moorish Citizen Embassy in Baltimore, Maryland, where the Moorish sovereign citizens have their embassy. That's where I'd drive to.
Do they have an embassy there?
I don't know. Sounds like it.
It sounds like it.
There's a lot of like Moorish citizens that have declared different areas their like embassies and stuff. Moorish citizens rule, dude.
That's one of my favorite videos. Like, this is like 15 years ago. I was watching like people like there was like a whole like lane of YouTube which was like outsmarting, being backsassing cops, you know? And it was just like this guy was like drinking in public and this cop was like, throw that away. And he's like, no. And he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna have to like write you a citation. You're drinking in public. And he's like, no. And he's like, what's your name? And he's like, Malachi, you know? And he's like, okay.
I'm not in commerce.
Yeah, and he was like, what's your surname? And he goes, I don't have a surname. I'm a Moor.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it when they pull out the fake IDs as if the cops are gonna be like, oh shit, no, this guy's like a real. I don't know about this. This is a real Moorish citizen.
Oh, fuck.
That rules, dude.
Oh, fuck.
I like it also when like sovereign citizens put license plates on their car that say like not in commerce. And the first time I met a sovereign citizen, I was at the dog park. And this guy was just talking to me about how if you know enough about the law, you can outsmart judges and stuff. And I was like, that makes sense, right?
Right.
Like if you know enough about the law, if credit unions and like
He'd watch Good Will Hunting.
yeah, insurance companies, they get around the law all the time
Sure.
by pretty much buying little loopholes.
Right.
So it made sense to me.
Yeah.
But then anything past surface level, it's just these guys that go to court and say, my name is not spelled with all capital letters. And the judge is like, okay, you're going to jail until you change your mind.
Okay, lowercase Joseph, you're going to prison.
Yeah. If those videos ended with the judge being like, wow, yeah, you walk free and your bank account is now filled with $1 million, then those guys, I'd be like, yo, sovereign citizens are geniuses.
Yo, you want to be judged? Get up here.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, I'm a sovereign, but I've watched the videos. I know what happens.
Put this robe on, son.
I'll admit, the first time I talked to a sovereign citizen guy, I was like, oh, you got the sauce, dude. You're going to break off some game for me right now, dude, 100%. But then any amount of research is like, oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No. All right. Well,
do we have time for vendettas or Iowa caucus?
We do. I feel like we can do a quick run through the Iowa caucus. Or everybody knows who won by now.
Everyone knows who won by now.
And you know who the real winner is? The voter.
You, the voter. You're the voter. This is what democracy looks like, which is scary if you think about it.
If you take a step back and you're because look, you're smoking a blunt with your best Moors, and
you're deciding where you're going to place the embassy. All right,
and you're talking about the real stuff, breaking it down, like is Sean Stevens lying, and.
I'm a Sean Stevens truther. I think he was kidnapped.
I think it's a truther as well. Sean, we're truthers. Come on to the show.
Sorry that happened to you. Friend of the show, Sean Stevens.
You're a fellow Moor in my eyes. This is going to be. I'm so excited to be in an election year. What a good year to start the pod.
An election year.
And we wish America well.
Can I tell you something real that happened to me the other day?
Go ahead.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
I mentioned, oh, did you see the election, the Iowa caucus thing? She said, yeah. I swear to God, this is true. This isn't something I made up to try to make my uncles mad.
This is true. It's like Sean Stevens.
I swear to God, this is true.
Yeah.
She says to me, my dream scenario is Trump and Biden go against each other, but they both die. And that way, Nikki Haley and Kamala Harris have to run for president against each other, and Americans are forced to pick between two women of color. She said, that is my dream. I said, your dream is Kamala Harris and Nikki Haley running against each other. That's the best America you can imagine. And she said, I just think it'd be so cool.
I mean, that's a wet dream, bro.
Yeah, that's the best America I can imagine. That is the best world we could build.
Which cop do you prefer?
Yeah. I like the lady that's like, wait, Nikki Haley's not white? Like, no, she's Indian. Yeah, on like a technicality. In the same way that Sam's Mexican. You know what I mean?
Hi, everyone.
She's Indian with a reminder, you know?
All right, well, let's get down to our last two segments. The next one is vendettas. Ooh, and this is where JT and I declare our vendettas.
We got show vendettas.
Which are grudges.
This show has two goals. To find out what happened behind the FBI suicide in Container Bar on Rainey Street.
Ooh, yeah.
And to air out all our grievances against our enemies.
Yeah, that is true. They're in the Container Bar on Rainey Street in southern part of downtown Austin 8 years ago.
Yeah.
An FBI agent walked into a full nightclub. People are dancing. It's the weekend, and he just, probably like what Bounce by Kanye was big. Kim and Kanye were still a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And
Glory days.
this guy just walked in and blew his brains out on the dance floor.
On the dance floor. No footage.
None.
No story.
No.
No reason why.
Zero.
He was a Wall Street banker that got hired by the FBI.
Yep.
And who did he work for after that? The freaking Clinton Foundation. Like, it is the juiciest, most conspiracy theory thing on earth. We want to hire a private investigator to investigate.
That is the goal of the show. If you like or don't like anything we've said, and you just reach out to us. We're going to start a GoFundMe to hire a private investigator to look into the suicide on Rainey.
We would love to get some good files on that.
So that's the opposite of a vendetta. That's a vision board.
Yeah, that's the positive side of our goals. The negative side of our goals. Our vendettas.
Vendettas.
Our spiritual fatwas.
My vendetta is Royal Blue Groceries here in Austin, Texas. They'll ask for you to tip on groceries. I understand the merits of tipping. Groceries?
Merits of tipping is your boss makes more money. Doesn't have to pay his employees as much as they work for. You outsource their pay to me to buy a Topo Chico for $4.
Pay the cashier.
Do you tip?
No.
No way.
In the long run, I think it's good.
To tip the cashiers or not tip the cashiers?
To not.
You gotta let them know. Pavlov's dogs, baby. Don't let your mouth water when I walk up. You're not getting a cent off me.
None.
My vendetta? Actually, my vendetta is Michael Good. My vendetta is Michael Good's Instagram post.
A comedian in New York.
I was about to say a local comedian. A foreign comedian.
In New York City.
In the liberal island of New York City, the old Isle of Manhattan, fell in love. And falling in love? Big fan of that.
Sure.
I see it on Instagram.
You're a lover boy.
Guilty as charged, dude.
The man got married.
Put me in prison for it, dude. I love being in love.
Lock me up.
He proposes
Lock
to
him
his girlfriend. Lock him up. Yeah, that's how much I love love. He proposes to his girlfriend and puts a photo on Instagram. What am I going to do?
Comment?
I'm going to comment and say, oh, congrats. You're in love. Congrats. Comments limited. He blocked me from commenting. That's my vendetta. I was going to put one of the hearts and one of the congratulation flowers and say, congrats, in all caps. Maybe even say, she's beautiful or she's gorgeous or something like that.
Or you would say, damn, got to get one last hit.
Yeah, he Antifa'd my ability to do either.
None.
He took it from
Silenced.
me.
He silenced voices.
Oh, you've never heard Antifa used as a verb?
No, why did he do that?
Oh, I don't know why he did it. Actually, okay. I think he actually prevented everyone from commenting. Only her friends could comment.
You just took it personal.
Absolutely, because it was directed at me. I could tell. Even though technically he didn't let any of his friends comment, I knew when after he engaged, he's proposed, he said, I love you, and she said, I love you. And he said, do you know who I don't want to hear from? And some fucking smirk went across her face, and she said, JT, I bet. And they laughed. And they laughed together.
Boy, did they laugh.
Yeah, and he said, oh, how about I just don't let any of my friends comment, and that would prevent JT from either saying the one last hit thing or calling you gorgeous and saying congrats.
Folks, that's been InfoWhores.
That's been InfoWhores.
The pilot.
The pilot of InfoWhores.
We have so much to edit out.
I think we're going to keep it all.
I think so, too. That sounds like a lot of work. Stick with us. We'll see you next week.
Fellow Patriots.
At Sam Castillo Comedy. At
God's favorite comedian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.